Hello and welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Well, now we are focusing on the Sambhal showdown which erupted in Uttar Pradesh. Now, tensions reach a boiling point in Sambhal as the Samajwadi Party reaches with its delegation there on the ground today, vowing to take legal action if the government ignores their demands. Now, Akhilesh Yadav accuses the ruling government of orchestrating the riots, alleging that they forced the doctors to forge post-mortem reports to cover up their own failures. He's also raised questions about BJP workers being present during the survey and called for their accountability. Now, as the situation deepens up in Uttar Pradesh Police has also released a new dossier on the day of the attack with over 100 suspects that have been identified. So far, 27 arrests have been made in this entire case, and authorities are combing through CCTV footages to track more culprits. Now we're getting a breaking input on this report itself. Now, exclusive CCTV footage has been accessed by News18. Now, in this CCTV footage, it is very much clear that this Sambhal riot was pre-planned. Now, rioters first covered their faces, gathered stones, bricks, and then walked towards Shahi Jama Masjid. These are the latest inputs that we're tracking from the ground, and as you all can see, the CCTV footage that we are now playing for you on your TV screens. These are the exclusive footages that have been accessed by News18, which reveal that the pre-planned nature of the Sambhal riot, with rioters gathering stones and preparing for stone pelting. Tensions are now continuing to escalate in Sambhal, and these are the latest inputs that we're tracking from the ground. Now, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Anshul. A very good morning, Anshul. Fresh new CCTV footages have now been exclusively accessed by News18, which suggest that all of these rioters were pre-planned to be there, gathered stones from the ground and started acting upon some pre-planned orders that were given to them. What more do we know about these CCTV footages that have been accessed?
Well, if at all the entire incident was pre-planned or not, this is something that is being investigated by the Uttar Pradesh Police at this point in time. But the evidences that are coming to the fore, this actually very clearly state that how the entire situation trickled out of hand very, very quickly. As soon as the surveyors reached out here at the Jama Masjid, the message spread across, and then people started to prepare to make sure that these people are not allowed to get away, because the entire violence that had broken out once the entire team of surveyors started to leave out here from the Jama Masjid. Now, over the last 5 to 6 days since the time this incident has happened out here in Sambhal, there are new evidences that are coming to the fore that actually narrate that how there was very close coordination between different people, due to which the entire situation stumbled out of hand so very quickly that even the Sambhal Police, which was already preempting that something like this could happen, even they could not react, because the speed in which the messages spread across and the number of people that gathered on the road, that was something that is very, very serious and very, very questionable. And this is something that is being investigated by now by the Uttar Pradesh Police right now, trying to figure out if at all there was a larger conspiracy behind carrying out such an attack, and if at all these people were given the information to go ahead and attack, or these rioters were given the information to go ahead and attack hours in advance. But at this point in time, the evidences that are coming to the fore, that clearly suggests that there was a very close coordination, and this was not something that happened in the heat of the moment. There was close coordination between different people, between different groups, and that eventually made sure that hundreds and thousands of people gathered over here right outside the Jama Masjid, post which we saw the kind of violence that happened on the 24th of November.
Right, Anshul, thank you so much for bringing in all those details. I'll request you to stay with us on the broadcast as we are getting more developments on this story, where exclusive CCTV access by News18 suggests, and it's clear that this Sambhal riot was pre-planned. Now, the tension continues to boil, and cracking down on the rioters, the Sambhal administration has released fresh pictures of over 120 people involved in stone pelting and arson during the survey of Shahi Jama Masjid in Uttar Pradesh. Now, the Reuters, as shown to you earlier in the CCTV footage that was played for you, the rioters are seen holding stones, sticks and weapons. Many of the rioters have also covered their faces with masks, and SP has urged the public to identify the rioters to maintain peace in the city. Now, the police have also emphasized that recovery for the damages caused by the rioters will be pursued, and the citizens are encouraged to report any kind of information leading to their arrest. Now, these are the latest inputs that we are tracking from the ground, where now the administration has released a couple of visuals and pictures of 120 rioters. Now, Anshul continues to stay with us on the broadcast. Anshul, what more can you tell us about the 120 suspects that have been identified in the Sambhal riots, and how is the police planning to track down the remaining culprits beyond taking help from the citizens on the ground?
Well, this list could definitely increase over the next few days, because one thing is very, very clear, that the Uttar Pradesh administration or the Yogi Adityanath administration is absolutely not ready to take this situation in the way it is. The one thing that the UP government has boasted about over the last 10 years, that how there has been a lot of peace between different communities in Uttar Pradesh, and there has been no major riots that has happened. But this is something that definitely is a stain on the record of the UP government, and hence now the UP government is trying to make sure that each and every person who is involved in rioting, who is involved in damaging public property, who is involved in damaging government property, they are brought to the books, and post that an example could be set out of them, because this is something that the Yogi Adityanath government has constantly been doing. And they in fact, the UP became one of the first states that had made this law, in which the rioters who are identified, the recovery of damages that has been incurred by the government or by the public, that is being done by selling the properties of the rioters. And this is something that is going to happen here as well. 120 people have already been identified, 24 people have already been arrested. The procedure of identifying more people who were involved in stone pelting, who were involved in banishing those sticks that they had brought, all of them are being identified. And yes, it is also being looked at that who was the person who had fired those bullets, because the UP police had made this very, very clear that it had not come from their weapon. In fact, the bullet that was used was from a country-made pistol and not from the service pistol of the Uttar Pradesh police. So all of this is being looked into. More and more people will be identified. It is absolutely necessary for the Uttar Pradesh police to make sure that all these people who have been identified are actually brought to the books. But it is going to be a very uphill task, because as media has already reported that they have already been identified by the UP police. Most of them would have actually fled from the borders of Uttar Pradesh. So definitely it is going to be a Herculean task. But yes, public partnership is something that the police is looking at this point in time, and also intelligence is being collected about the heads or the people who might have given this command out to others to go ahead and attack or to stop the way of the surveyors. This is something that is also being looked into. So this is going to be a very long and lengthy investigation that will be conducted by the Uttar Pradesh police. But at this point in time, if we talk about Sambhal specifically, there is still a sense of tension that can be sensed over here in Sambhal. Although over the last 5 days the situation has remained absolutely peaceful, no fresh incidents of violence has happened anywhere. But even after that, there is this slight sense of tension that can be sensed. And tomorrow, as tomorrow is Friday, the Juma prayers will be offered, in which all the people will actually come out of their houses to pray at the Jama Masjid, and hence tomorrow is being seen as a big challenge for the Uttar Pradesh police to make sure that the law and order situation remains under control.
Right, Anshul. I'd request you to stay with us on the broadcast as the probe widens in the Sambhal violence case. We're getting more breaking inputs. Now, police have now arrested the 28th accused, Farhad, in the connection with the riot. Now, authorities continue to make progress, identifying key suspects and gathering evidence to hold those responsible and accountable in the situation. Now, Anshul, with the probe expanding, it's clear that this case is far from getting over, and more arrests are now being made. Could follow also as police sift through the growling pile of evidences, especially coming in through the CCTV footages. Now, what details can you tell us or share about the arrest of Farhad, and how is he connected to the violence in Sambhal?
Well, if you see the kind of arrest that has happened or the people who have been identified, the police has not been able to identify the kingpin or the person who had actually given this order to actually figure out that if at all this was done in an organized manner. And hence the people who are being arrested, they are being arrested on their identification. The police, as you rightly mentioned, is identifying them through CCTV footages and through local statements, through local intelligence, and they are trying to figure out as to who were the people who were involved in this. Now, this 28th arrest that has happened right now is that of Farad. Farad is another person who was very much present in this vicinity of Jama Masjid out here in Sambhal, and he was one of the person, is what the Uttar Pradesh police claims, who was actually involved in pelting stone towards the towards the Uttar Pradesh police, who was deployed over here to maintain the security. And then post that, we saw that how Uttar Pradesh police started the bait in charge, and then the entire then the entire crowd that had gathered actually dispersed from here. So definitely there is a lot that needs to be done. It is going to be a very uphill task for the Uttar Pradesh police to actually prosecute these people who they are arresting at this point in time, because the court will ask for much greater evidences, not just CCTV footages, but also other evidences would be asked from the side of the court, and hence the Uttar Pradesh police is going to take a long time to actually do a watertight investigation in this entire matter and make sure that all the people who have been identified, who have been arrested by them, they could actually be brought to the books. Their crime could actually be presented in front of the court or proved in front of the court. So all this needs to be done. This is going to be a long haul, but the main focus of the Uttar Pradesh police out here in Sambhal, if I could just show you in the visuals around here, that the police is heavy police deployment is already has already been done over here, making sure that there is a sense of calm that can be given to the locals as well, because the locals who were staying over here, there is this sense of tension that riots could actually start yet again or something like this. The confidence is not there, and hence the Uttar Pradesh police is trying to build that confidence amongst the locals over here as well. So definitely a lot needs to be done to build that confidence initially, and then the most difficult task to prosecute all these people who have been arrested, and to make sure that the others who are still at large, they could be brought to the books and they could be prosecuted as well.
Right, Anshul, I'll request you to stay with us on the broadcast. Thank you so much for bringing in all those details from the ground. But this is a developing story and we're getting more updates on this. This breaking input is now pertinent to authorities taking strict and stringent actions on the ground. Now the internet services have been suspended in Sambhal for another 2 days. In a significant move, the internet services in Sambhal have been suspended for 2 another days to prevent the spread of misinformation and maintain public law and order situation. Now, this comes as the authorities continue their crackdown on the rioters with ongoing investigations and arrests. Anshul continues to stay with us on the ground, on the broadcast. Anshul, what is the primarily what is the aim of suspending the internet from the ground, and with the 28 arrests that have already been made, what is the next step in the investigation?
Well, there are going to be a lot more arrests that are going to be made. The people who have been arrested there, they will be presented in front of the courts as well. Now, if we speak specifically about the suspension of internet services out here in Sambhal, the main reason is Friday, that is tomorrow. Friday press will be held tomorrow, and hence the administration wants to make sure that if at all there was any sort of planning that might have happened last time around, that does not happen this time around, and hence the antisocial elements are given no way through which they can communicate amongst each other to carry out any sort of a sinister plan out here in Sambhal. Also, tomorrow becomes very important because in Chandoli court, the hearing will happen yet again where the future of the survey will be decided, and the entire incident that happened last week on the 24th of November, that would be put in front of the court as well. So tomorrow becomes a very crucial day for the Uttar Pradesh administration, and many people who have been through such a situation, who have seen such riots, actually believe that if at all there is one Friday that goes without any sort of violence, then eventually the situation returns back to normal very quickly, and that is what the UP government is trying to do. They are trying to make sure that the sinisters, if at all anyone is antisocial element is trying to make any sort of sinister plan, they are not allowed to do so, and the Friday prayers go ahead normally, and post that they are expecting that the internet suspension would eventually be lifted. So definitely tomorrow is a very crucial day.
Well, as the Friday prayers approach, with internet services now being suspended for further 2 more days to prevent further escalation, authorities are taking all necessary precautions to maintain peace in Sambhal. Stay tuned with us for more updates on this developing situation. We'll take a short break and be right back.